so far not living up to their name as they lose at San Diego on Sunday. UFC, Cain Velasquez fighting on Sunday night. But today it's a different kind of Velasquez that we want to talk about. And with that, I want to start this program right off the bat, going live to Gilmer High School. Our very own Luther Kinsey standing by with a pair of state champions. Now, as soon as we get done with the interview and Luther throws it back to me, we will come back in our second segment and have a complete recap of what all went down this past weekend on the high school wrestling mat as we welcome you to this week's Instant Replay. Once again, our email, teamfynsports@fetchernews.com. You can also like us, follow us on all of our social mediums, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and also be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Again, this show is just a very small part of Team FYN Sports. You can always find the complete story by going online, but we pull out the highlights right here on the program. And right now, I do want to send it out to Gilmer High School, where Team FYN Sports' Luther Kinsey is standing by with a couple of special guests.
Appreciate it, Dave. I'm live here at Gilmer High School with Coach Josh Gabadpour of the Gilmer High School wrestling team that just came back from Macon, Georgia. And as you can see, I have Caleb Waddell, 170 state championship, or state champion, I should say. And to Coach's right, we have Candelaria Velasquez. Did I say that right? Good, good, good. And she is the first ever Georgia High School state champion at 95 pounds in the women's division. So congratulations to both of y'all. Coach, I want to start with you. Coming into the season, what type of expectations did you have for these wrestlers and your athletes? And tell me a little bit about how the team did as a whole over in Macon after that, please.
Well, coming into the season, we knew that we were going to have a lot of great wrestlers returning, with the great ones that we had lost, and we were able to fill in those weight classes with new guys, with guys that maybe been backups before and they had been waiting for their opportunity. As all the way across the board in our 14 weights, we felt like we had a tough wrestler in every weight class. And our expectations were very, very high. It's to win a state championship. Some years you're a better dual team than you are a traditional team, and this is one of those years where we felt like, we were a better team against team, as opposed to, some teams they have, multiple guys that can win a state championship and those types of situations. But our expectations were very high. We went in to win a state championship. We came very close. We were 4 points off winning that state dual title this year, which is very tough. But at the same time, it's just with all the adversity that these guys had to face, injuries and losing guys and different things, it's just amazing what they were able to do. And we were very young at a lot of spots as well in that. And then going into the traditional tournaments, how many guys can we get on the podium? We had a lot of people that have never placed before, but they were placer quality wrestlers. So that was our goal as coaches, just to get them those individual accomplishments. And then when they take care of that individually, then that's going to take that team score that they hold for a traditional tournament. And we were able to hold on to the 4th spot, so we walked home with a little bit of hardware. We were very proud of our team for doing that. Last year we placed 5th. This year we're 4th, so we're getting a little bit better there. I feel like we were better in the dual situations as well. So to do that and to see these guys finish very strong, not just guys, our ladies as well, in that situation, to have some of these weight classes where we're beating guys that had maybe beaten us at regionals, maybe had beaten us at sectionals, and when the time come, we were beating them at the right time. That was very special. And to have 2 in the finals, have one of those finalists being Javier Jacinto, and he's never placed before. And he would have probably been a placer last year if he'd have been able to be at state with us. And, to see him go out and battle, he probably had the most exciting semifinal match I've ever seen. And then to see Caleb go out there against a guy that he's known for many, many years, a very quality opponent from a great wrestling family, and to go out there and put on a great show and a great match and to finish strong, that's what you want out of these wrestlers. And then Candelaria steps up, at 95 pounds. And I mean, there's so many emotions with that division this year because it's the first time they've ever done it, and a lot of people they're still figuring it out. And she goes out there, has a very, very tough semifinal match, wins in overtime. She gets to that point where we're like, hey, you're just going to have to suck it up through this. And she did. And to get through that and then to get to the finals against an opponent that had been wrestling longer than her and has more experience. And she goes out and she pulls the trigger. She gets the first takedown. She runs her half and she pins her in the first period. That's just amazing. And it's a testament to these wrestlers and all of our wrestlers, ability to deal with adversity, and then to have that dedication to the team and to themselves to finish strong and to finish well.
Well, excuse me. Well, it definitely shows, her dedication, and a good testimony for her to step up. How many female wrestlers do you have? How many girls on the team this year?
We had 3 come out initially with Candelaria, her being one of the 3, and then a little bit into the season, it was one of those where this might not be for me right now, right yet. Maybe I'm not physically ready yet. Maybe I'm not mentally ready to this point, and that's tough, and that was especially tough on Candelaria, I believe, because at first she had at least some other girls out there with her, to take that journey, and then as we go through, we lost a couple, and then it was her saying, you're going to stick it out, and you're going to be the one that goes, and you're going to hold that torch, and she did, and again, look where she's at now, very amazing.
Talking about your placers for the weekend, who placed where? In the overall podium, and of course off the podium of all the wrestlers you carried to Macon with you.
Yes, sir. I mean, we had 5 placers on the boys' side. At 106, it was Carson Bentley. He's a freshman. He finished 6th. We're extremely proud of him. At 113, we didn't place, but Walter Lopez was top 8. He was probably 10 seconds away from being a state placer in his 2nd year of wrestling. At 120 pounds, Logan Bentley, Carson's brother, again in the top 8. Wrestled a very, very tough match, but wasn't able to claim that podium spot, but he was top 8. We're very proud of him. And then we go all the way up to 138 pounds, Hoyt Stover again, top 8 there. At 145 pounds, we had Javier Acento, he's state finalist, he's runner-up. I mean, he did an incredible job for us. And for himself, it was just a really, really cool thing for him to be there in that moment. At 160 pounds, Alex Repton placed 3rd. He was 6th last year. He was one of our only 2. Him and Caleb were one of our only 2 state placers that we returned from last year's team. And he was 6th last year at 138 pounds, and he was 3rd this year at 160 pounds. And I think that a lot of that has to do with his wrestling partners at practice, wrestling with Javier, wrestling with Caleb. There's a reason why there's 3 guys very close in weight that are having a lot of success through there, because they get to wrestle each other, they get to push each other, and he had to beat a guy that beat him at regionals and sectionals just to make it in for 3rd and 4th, and then he had to beat a guy for 3rd and 4th that he'd lost to the week before, so he's just showed a lot of will and a lot of guts to be able to push through those things. Then you have Caleb, who along the way he had to beat the guy that got 4th at regionals and sectionals. He had to beat the defending state champion in the semifinals just to get into the finals. And then in the finals you have Carr from West Lawrence, who's an amazing wrestler, and they put on a show and they put on a battle, and he came out ahead of that. And honestly, the gap could have been even wider on the score if a couple little things went another way, but he kept his head, he kept wrestling, he stayed in good position, and that's what won him a state championship. Just very amazing. And then 195 pounds, our last placer was Taylor Brogdon. Has never placed before, and it was just amazing to see him go out there and to do as well as he did. Very proud of that senior. And then obviously we have Candelaria, who first qualifier the school's ever had, first placer the school's ever had, first state finalist the school's ever had on the girls' side, and now the first state champion as well.
Awesome. Well, Caleb, I'm going to move to you. We were talking when I first got here off camera about the semifinal match being crazy, in your words. Can you tell me a little bit about that and just briefly go into what you want to go into about it? And then, of course, from there I want to move into the state championship match, how you did there, how you scored your points, and then, of course, how does it feel to be not only a leader on the team but also a state champion for Gilmer?
Well, in the semifinal match, I got really gassed, so it was getting pretty rough. The other guy was gassed too, so that kind of evened it out. But I stayed on my attack, and he stayed on his attack, and I wasn't finishing my shots quick, so he was scrambling out, and I got a locked hands call on me. I don't know. I think it was like at the end of the second or something, and in the third or in the second, I threw the guy and got 2 back, and it was 4-6 at that point. And third period, I chose down, got an escape, and just kind of stayed there, played around. Probably about 30 seconds left, took the guy down, and then he got up, and I just held onto his leg because I was gassed. it's pretty wild.
Emotions are high in that situation.
Oh yes, I'm sure they are. I can't imagine being in that situation personally. All right, well, in the state championship match, of course, obviously you won that. How does it feel and to win the state championship, and what was the determining factor in that match for you?
It feels amazing. It's a crazy moment. I got off the mat and I feel like I could wrestle another like 3 matches because my adrenaline was so high. But
yeah, you had a pretty good flex going on.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped up. But I think I didn't just stop whenever he took me down that last time. I didn't just lay there. I kept moving, kept going, kept my hips moving, and got the reversal and kept scrambling and got the reversal. So it was.
Well, awesome. Well, congratulations on that state championship, and you're still better than your brother. just because I know your parents are going to watch this, and I just have to put that out there for you. All right, next we'll move on to Candelaria Velasquez. Did I say that right again? It's a hard name for me to pronounce, so I'm sorry. Congratulations, first and foremost, on winning the state championship and being the first ever girl to do that for Georgia High School and Gilmer High School. Tell me a little bit about how your day went with the matches. Were your emotions, I know, played into it as you got closer to the finals. Give me just a little brief about what was your toughest match, number one, and then number two, of course, as I asked Caleb, if you'll go into how it feels, and was there a determining factor or a certain point in that championship match that really decided the match, so to speak?
My toughest match, I gotta say, was my semifinals. I've had struggles in there. I had a point where I just wanted to give up. It was really hard, especially exciting that I came out to be state. Coaches were telling me that if I were to give up now, I just wasted my time in practice doing all that, giving all that time there. So he told me to go out there and do my best, and that's what I did. I showed him that I could do it, and I showed the other girls out there that everything is possible. And even if you have back downs and you tell yourself that you can't do it, there's always other people out there telling you that, yeah, you can, you're able to. You put your mind to it, you set your dedication in a sport that other girls possibly couldn't do. But if they set their mind on it, everything's possible in every way. You just have that mentality. You have those supporters, the community. You have your family there out there supporting you. And the semifinals, it was, gotta say, one of the toughest ones I've ever went through. But without coach's help and the other coaches out there, I couldn't have done it without them, the teams. It was all an amazing day that day. Won, I think, 15-13.
Yep, had to win in overtime.
It was big. That takedown, it was huge. And then when it came out to the finals, I was so nervous. I warmed up 3 hours before. I was doing push-ups and sit-ups, relaxing, and then watching it. And then people were telling me that the girl I was going to come out was going to be tough. I had her in my head the whole entire time. She's going to be tough. She's probably going to win. But then I came out there and I was like, already in tears because I was so scared. But coach was telling me, he's like, hey, act like you're in the Noah Harris Center. Act like if it was your brother, Carson, Walter. So I did a little practice, then I waited, and then I kind of just sat there and thought, maybe if I could win this, it'd be great. So I did a little prayer before I went out there, and when it came to meeting her, getting to know who she was, it gave me an idea. I felt happy back in the back when we were waiting for a ceremony to start. And we had a little conversation between us two. And then when it came out to the mat, I was so nervous, but then I gave up that nervous, and I was like, what, I can do this. If I can just get her and pin her, I'd win. And that's what I did out there.
Well, I can tell you, I can see the emotion still on your face and in your voice. And I personally have never gotten emotional during an interview. I'm very emotional for you right now, and that is awesome. Congratulations again. The ceremony coming into the finals, that had to make you even more nervous, because when they bring you out there and they spotlight you and introduce you, that's something, high school kids in general across the board. Other sports don't do that quite to this point, to this level. And you've got to experience it for the first time, and it's awesome. And so congratulations to you, Coach. I'm gonna come back to you real quick. I've noticed throughout the year following you this year and last year, and it's been awesome covering. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Taylor Brogdon, of course, you said his first time he had placed. To me, he's the most energetic, focused, high energy, just athlete I've ever. He's intense. That's the only way to say it. Across the board for your whole team, if you had to pick one wrestler, and I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit, that is just really, of course we know Caleb, we know how he is. He's a leader, he's always intense, he's going to be there rooting on those other guys, screaming at the top of his lungs. When he graduates high school, you probably have him on his staff after he gets out of college.
He'll probably have me on his staff.
Okay. But if you had to pick one wrestler across the board, guy or girl, who would you say is the most intense athlete you have as far as drive and getting out there?
It's so tough to answer that question, and I'm not really going to answer it the way you want me to, because everyone is so different. This is not a sport of everyone's the same and everyone does this. Everyone has their own personality. Everyone is their own person. Taylor Brogdon, that dude gives you 100% effort every time he goes out there. We know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, do we know what he's going to do every time he goes out there? No. But we know that the effort's going to be there every single time. Caleb, just unbelievable technician, unbelievable explosiveness. He gets up in a different way than maybe Taylor does. Alex Repetin, one of our seniors, he got third place this year. I mean, that dude is so intense in everything he does, within training to the weight room to practice. I mean, that was probably Caleb's #1 practice partner all year long. And I'll tell you what, he got his butt kicked just about every single day. But he chased Caleb, and guess what? That got him higher up on the podium than he was last year. Javier Acento, just a little bit more quiet, but look, he's going to attack you, be in your face. He's never going to back down. There's guys that, that you don't even know on there. Thomas Chastain, who wasn't able to go to state for us, and he's in that room being a leader every day, getting the intensity, getting us loose. I mean, so there's different qualities that every wrestler brings to the table, and those qualities form your team. And then when you have that type of atmosphere, then everybody kind of knows, and everybody can stay loose but intense at the same time and get ready for the big matches. And when we're in between, we're laughing, we're cutting up, we're trying to have a good time, because if you stay tight for the whole tournament, you will wear yourself out mentally and emotionally before you ever get out there. So, it's hard to say, and I can't really answer the way you want me to, but everybody has their intensities. Everybody handles it a little bit different. You may see one guy jumping up and down, but it doesn't mean he's any more intense than this guy that's quiet walking back and forth. It's that calm before the storm. It's what they have on the inside, and then when you shake hands, you're going to see what they're bringing to the table there. So, I mean, I love these guys and Cannellari and what they've done this year, the effort and emotion and dedication it takes to be a wrestler and to stick it out, the injuries, the things that you're going to have to deal with. There's so much that goes into being at that top spot, or being on that podium, or even being a state qualifier, or just making it through the end of the year. So we're proud of all our wrestlers, whether they're at state or not, and they all helped contribute to everyone's success when we were there.
All right. Well, two things in closing. One, you answered it exactly like I would have expected you to. Gilmer Wrestling is definitely a family. I've learned that in my time I've got to be around y'all. It's great, and I'm sure every one of these athletes on your team, thank you for your heart and dedication into them as well. And Team F1 Sports appreciates that as well, too. We really appreciate coaches that come out and dedicate their time and their heart and their lives, because I know it puts stress on families at times, too, not just in wrestling, but every sport. For your dedication, we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And we appreciate both of y'all sitting down with us as well. Congratulations again on your state championships. First ever in GHSA history and Gilmer history, so thank you for that. And Dave, that's going to wrap it up from here. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Luther. Great job. And we do thank Coach Gobad for being with us, as well as Caleb Waddell and Candelaria Velasquez. Again, we do appreciate those folks being with us. And I haven't had a problem with her name until you said something, Luther, and now all of a sudden I'm having a problem there. But again, congratulations, Velasquez. Just an unbelievable first ever GHSA female state champion again this year. Georgia High School Association, they do have a female championship with all of the female wrestlers now that are coming onto the scene. They decided to make it a separate state championship. So again, Caleb Waddell winning. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we return, we're going to have the complete rundown real fast for you as far as what happened on the mat with all of our local area teams, because also some great efforts from Lumpkin and Pickens as well. And then we're also going to run through some GHSA basketball results, again, state playoffs taking place, and some spring news and notes for you. All that and much more right around the corner. We thank you for being with us on this week's edition of the Instant Replay. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, downdraft spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back to this week's Instant Replay. I'm your host, Dave Garner. Thanks for joining us live right here on FYNTV.com. If you are watching on February what is today here? February the 18th. Then you are watching live on Monday. That's right. Our program does air live on Mondays from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. Right here on FYNTV.com. But it also airs throughout the week as well on demand right here on FYNTV.com. We thank you guys for being with us. As always, our phone number is 706-889-9700. Our email, if you have any sports information you'd like to share with us, again, feel free to email us at teamfynsports@fetchernews.com. And again, like us, follow us on all of our social media platforms. As we said, this is basically the highlight show throughout the week, and we appreciate you guys being with us. Now, we're going to give Luther Kinsey a few minutes to get back to the studio in Ellijay. Again, he joined us in the first segment live from Gilmer with Coach Gobadapur of the Gilmer Wrestling Bobcats, and also state champions Candelaria Velasquez and Caleb Waddell. We appreciate those folks being on with us. So Luther en route as we speak back to the studio. So I'll go ahead and take round two, if you will, section two of the show. And let's go through the wrestling results. We just got through talking about Gilmer. We didn't necessarily get into what all went down over the weekend down in Macon, but Gilmer did place fourth as a team overall, as we talked about. Waddell, a state champ. Again, several placers, 5 total placers for the Bobcats, and we congratulate Gilmer on an excellent team finish. A little bit short of where they wanted to be after the state duels, being the state runner-up, but still in the top 5 of the state traditional tournament. Congratulations to the Gilmer Bobcats. Let's talk a little bit about the Pickens Dragons, who also had several placers. They sent 4 to Macon, with 3 of them making the podium, and this ties a school record for PHS. How about CJ Murphy, folks? State runner-up. Congratulations. CJ lost a narrow match in the state championship, but still nonetheless an excellent season for CJ, who of course ends his season as the second place finisher in the state of Georgia in 4A. Dalton Bruner, 3rd overall, man, wrestling back, winning 3rd place overall for the Dragons, and Zach Meadows also on the podium with a 6th place finish. Congratulations there. I tell you, this Dragon Wrestling program, as we know, Gilmer, obviously in our local area, is one of those teams that typically takes the spotlight because of all the success they've had in the tradition. But just down the highway in Pickens, the Dragons have also made a name for themselves as well. And they have done an excellent job on the mat again with several state placers. Lumpkin County also, same thing could be said there. They had 5 reach the podium with 2 state champions. Congratulations. Now, when Luther gets back later, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but 2 state champions for the Lumpkin County Indians. They also had a 2nd place finish, a 5th place, and a 6th place finish as well. Congratulations to the Lumpkin County Indian Wrestling team, doing very well. And the Fannin County Rebels, they also sent 5 wrestlers to Macon, and 4 made the podium. The Rebels, again, had them 1 through 9, several in the top 10. Congratulations to McKay Turner. Excellent tournament there. Landon Galloway, Colton Mathis, and Kanan Henson. Those 4 making the podium for the Rebel Wrestling team. And I tell you what, book in Gilmer either side. Pickens and Fannin counties to the south and north, respectively, have also done very well. This Highway 515 corridor is unbelievable when it comes to high school wrestling, and what a job. I do want to mention, too, North Carolina wrestling. The Murphy Bulldogs had 1 participant in the 1A state tournament. That was Corey Farmer at 195 pounds. He defeated Jonathan Zafra of Manteo by a major decision, 12-3, for the state title. Congratulations there, the Murphy Bulldogs, and a state champion from Mr. Corey Farmer. Congratulations. We're going to talk more about this a little bit later on. Again, Farmer was also chosen courtesy of the Citizen Times. Farmer was also chosen for the All-Western North Carolina team at 195 pounds. Man, what a just an amazing effort in Georgia and in North Carolina this past weekend on the wrestling mat. And we'll talk a little bit more about wrestling later on, but that basically ends the season, and we will begin to transition into the spring a little bit. But first, coming up in our 3rd period segment of the 3rd quarter show, if you will, or segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about high school basketball. We're going to officially wrap up the high school basketball season locally, but I've got a feeling that over the next couple of weeks, we're going to circle back around a little bit to some of the wrestling and basketball as the postseason accolades continue to build up. But just an excellent high school wrestling season in our local area. And once again, it wraps up with several state champions in our local area, in our coverage area right here with our Team FYN Sports crew. 5 state champs, I guess, or 6 maybe even. Just an unbelievable weekend of wrestling, and it's always great to see that. We appreciate you guys being with us. We are live from the office this morning as part of our version of Good Morning from the Office. It's the Instant Replay. I'm Dave Garner. Luther Kinsey making his way back to the studio. In fact, I hear he's pulling into the parking lot as we speak. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout. When we return, we'll be joined back in studio by Luther and myself as we break down high school basketball from this past week and weekend, and all that and more. Plus, later in the show, if we have time, we're going to talk a little bit about baseball and soccer as well. The Pickens Dragon boys soccer team with a championship to add to their resume. All that and much more coming up on this week's edition of the Instant Replay. Stay with us.
the leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Welcome back to the program. Again, Dave Garner with you right here as part of our instant replay and our Team FYN sports crew. And as always, we are highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way right here on the program as we continue to do that. And what a show we've had as we continue to move at light speed today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about with state basketball and wrestling state championships happening over the weekend. So it's a very action-packed show, as we dub this Championship Monday, if you're watching live, and we do appreciate you guys being with us. Before we jump into basketball and welcome Luther back in, I do want to talk a little bit about our changing of the guard. That's right. Anytime we have any coaching news or we have any personnel changes, we like to report them to you as part of our changing of the guard segment. And I would like to report that Hayesville High School has hired Chad McClure to be their new head football coach. McClure will fit the vacancy left by Kenneth Dockery, who stepped down after posting a 7-25 record over the last 3 years. This will be McClure's first head coaching job. He's been at it a long time as an assistant, but for the Yellow Jackets, he is the current varsity girls basketball coach and alumni of the school, and we would like to welcome Coach Chad McClure as the new head football coach at Hayesville High School. Again, Hayesville just right there on the edge of our coverage area here with Team FYN Sports, and we do appreciate that. And a little bit of news we wanted to pass along there. With that, I'd like to welcome in Luther Kinsey, who's catching his breath. He's back from that interview he did earlier in the show from Gilmer High School, and I guess it's nice to be just down the road, the Fetcher News studio in LJ, centrally located in our coverage area. And so that's the perks of being close to being able to get those interviews from Gilmer High School anyway. But Luther, I want to bring you in. Let's talk a little basketball. I know you've got some notes in front of you as well. Obviously, high school basketball has basically come to an end for several of our local area teams. And we'll go ahead and jump right in and talk a little bit about it. But let's welcome you in there, Luther, and let's get your thoughts on what went down over the weekend with high school basketball. Then I'll follow up a couple comments with what you've got to say.
Good morning, Dave. Appreciate you welcoming back in. I've got a little feedback in there, Lonnie. Sorry. Sorry about that, folks. You know, working out the bugs, as we said earlier, and sometimes the sound gets crazy. Over the weekend in 4A, we had, of course, the Pickens Nets and Gilmer Lady Cats both played in the first round games of the GHSA State playoffs. Pickens, the Nets, traveled to Flowery Branch to face the Lady Falcons. Didn't turn out so well. Flowery Branch is a dominating team, and it showed on the scoreboard as well, 70-43 over the Dragonettes. Of course, that does end their season. Flowery Branch has been known throughout the year to put up a lot of points against some really good teams, and they did it again here because the Nets are, very well coached. Their athletes are amazing, as we know. We've got Mackenzie Weaver, who had 1,000 points this year. Tori Williams, of course, just signed her letter of intent to Reinhardt University last week, as we brought. On the Gilmer side, Lady Cats traveled over to Atlanta for Marist against the Lady War Eagles. 51-41, and unfortunately in favor of Marist in the season for the Lady Cats. Finished 21-8 overall. Great season by the Lady Cats. Coach Nunn did a great job with the girls this year. The girls played hard. But not only does that end the season, Dave, to a good season and the 2018-2019 season for the Lady Cats, it also ends the high school careers for two seniors, Mallory Kaiser and Mary Lee Callahan. Both girls, all-region team this year for 4A. Played great game, played a very tight game, tied at halftime, and the fourth quarter. And I have to say, coaches, players, and fans alike for Gilmer, there were some very controversial calls and no calls that they were very argumentative from a standpoint of a bystander and looking on. Were the fouls there? Were the fouls not there? That's the judgment of the officials, and they have to call what they do. But that was a big discussion late in the game for that one. But it does end the season, 51-41 over the Lady Cats. Ends their season. But, again, great year. Moving on to AAA real quick. Let me scroll down through my notes. Dawson Lady Tigers out of GHSA AAA advanced to the second round with a 71-60 win over Coahulla Creek, just up the road from us here. They will host Lovett either Friday or Saturday of this week in a round 2 matchup. Lady Tigers are the higher seed, so the game will be held at home and they will get to host that. Second round win for Dawson. We'll see them on the road in round 3 at either Beach or Central Macon on February 26th or 27th. So, Lady Tigers, we're pulling for you there. We hate to see you go on the road, but at the same time, you know, round 3, you're getting that much closer to state if you can get a win this week. North Hall defeated North Murray 45-41, very close ball game. Being from Hall County, I've seen North Hall play many, many times over the years. I actually officiated a bunch of these young ladies through rec ball as, you know, from 6, 7, 8 years old on up. So, you know, quality athletes, great young ladies, played their heart out to take down North Murray 45-41 over the weekend, as I said. And the Lady Mountaineers season, of course, is over as well. Single A, we got Towns County Lady Indians, you know, stepping up and playing real good. Had a 76-46 win over Lanier County. And, of course, we'll move on to round 2 as well. They will travel to Calhoun County this weekend, which I'm not sure where Calhoun County is. Dave, you may know the answer to that. Dave, before I go into boys basketball, I want to toss it over to you and get your thoughts and on the ladies that are making it into the next round and, of course, the ending of the season for the Nets and the Lady Cats.
Yeah, absolutely, Luther. And talking a little bit about it, we showed the graphic there of the all-region team as well, and several 6-4A, and obviously the season continues for Dawson County on the girls and boys side, which we'll talk about in a minute. But absolutely, you know, you hate for the season to come to an end anytime, but some good seasons overall. The Dragonettes with Tori Williams and Mackenzie Weaver named all-region for Gilmer, Mallory Kaiser and Mary Lee Callahan, those seniors you talked about, of course, that are wrapping up their prep career. So congratulations to those young ladies there. But Dawson County, very impressed with what they've done. And then as we switch to the boys side, Luther, and I'll kind of run down those. Union falling to Spencer over the weekend, 69-53. So the Panther season comes to an end. But in 3A, on the boys side, Dawson County boys joining the girls in round 2. They defeat Ringgold in the first round, advancing on, and they'll face Westminster at home this weekend. So again, the Lady Tigers on the road, but the boy Tigers at home. Lumpkin County, their season comes to an end on the boys side with a 61-40 defeat to North Murray. But the Mountaineers, again, moving on, they'll play Hart County at home this weekend. Again, North Murray, one of those teams in our viewing area as well, in our coverage area. Moving on to North Carolina. North Carolina 1A Smoky Mountain Conference tournament brackets are in full swing for the Murphy Bulldogs and Hayesville Yellow Jackets. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on there. Varsity girls, though, we talked a little bit about it. Lady Bulldogs of Murphy playing against Robbinsville. That's on Monday. If you're watching it Monday, that's tonight. The winner moves on to the champion game there. In a couple of days it's 8 p.m. I believe that's on Thursday, I believe. Let's see, Friday the 22nd. Hayesville Lady Jackets hosting Cherokee on Tuesday at 6:30. The winner will play Murphy Robbinsville for the championship on Friday there. So, again, a lot of things going on. And then the number 4 Murphy boys playing number 1 Hayesville at Hayesville on Monday at 8 p.m. The winner to the conference championship Friday at 8 p.m. as well. So Friday will be championship day for North Carolina. Several of our local teams, of course, still involved in that as they play things a little bit later in Tennessee and North Carolina than the GHSA does. But, man, tell you what, basketball all over the place, Luther, and it's a great time. And we also mentioned, too, JV. Now, I know we're got to move on because we got a lot of time here. JV girls tournament also going on in North Carolina. Number 1 seeded Murphy Lady Bulldogs hosting the 4-seeded Cherokee today, that being Monday, and number 2 seeded Hayesville Lady Yellow Jackets hosting 3-seeded Robbinsville on Tuesday. Winner of those games will face off for the championship on Thursday at 6:30. So again, a lot of basketball taking place over the weekend, a lot of basketball taking place this week. So basketball not completely over. That's why I said earlier in the show we're going to have a complete recap for you next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about basketball for a few weeks, a couple of weeks if things go well, because we want to see state champions, man. Today's the championship edition of the program, and we appreciate you guys being with it. Luther, I'm going to toss it back to you, and then you can just throw it to a break, but I want to get your thoughts on the guys real quick, and then obviously we've got to be quick about this, but your comments as well, following up the wrestling. I know that you had the interview this morning with Coach Gobad and the Gilmer Wrestlers, but how about the other schools as well? Great showings by Pickens, great showings by Lumpkin, and Fannin putting them on the podium as well. Just your closing thoughts here in segment 3, and then you throw it to a break, partner.
Yeah, Dave, it's it's amazing. It's sad that the Pickens Dragons and the Gilmer Bobcats both fell out, in the region tournament, did not make it to the state playoffs. But to see Dawson really stepping up, defeating Ringgold, which is a very good team from Northwest Georgia over here. Westminster is going to be a good challenge for them this weekend. Westminster, of course, is a private school that really sets forward in there. Moving over to North Carolina, the JV girls, we don't get to cover a whole lot of JV, but it looks like if Murphy Lady Bulldogs can pull off the win over Cherokee and Hayesville pulls off the win over Robbinsville, we'll have a Murphy-Hayesville matchup in JV on Thursday. And the way they're calling for rain around here, and there may not be any baseball to be played, I may have to go catch that game and get some JV coverage and get some pictures and really be able to highlight some of those junior varsity athletes. Varsity girls, Murphy, we know how good they are and just really going at it. Robbinsville could be a tight matchup against them. Of course, not really a big rivalry, but at the same time it is a rivalry, so that game could go either way. Hayesville, we know how good they are as well. They could actually go in and play each other for the championship on Friday as well. That'll be another great matchup. Two schools that we do cover, when we can. We don't have reporters up there. So, if you live in that area and you're interested in becoming a reporter, email us at info@fetchernews.com and let us know, and we'll get our powers that be to contact you and hopefully set up an interview and maybe put you to work. You get in games for free and you get to watch sports. And you get paid. How much better can it get? Varsity boys, Murphy playing Hayesville tonight. One of those two teams is out. They're going to be out of the state playoffs tonight. So number 1, number 4, on paper it should go Hayesville way. To close out our third segment, just a real quick note on wrestling. Really want to thank Coach and of course Caleb and Candelaria this morning for sitting down with me. It was a great opportunity to really get to know her and see the emotion in her eyes. As I said in the interview, I don't get emotional during interviews like that. That young lady was about in tears, and Coach, he told me after the interview was over, he said, I couldn't look at her. He said, I would have lost it. And I feel the same way, Coach. It was great to see her emotion in that. So that was really, really cool to see, and congratulations to both of them. Pickens, Lumpkin, Fannin, as you said, 515 corridor really stepping up and, showing some serious athletes in the wrestling. And it's going to get better. These schools have a lot of young athletes involved, and it's going to be awesome. In saying that, we'll close out our third segment, take a quick break. We'll come right back with a lot more to bring you in an abbreviated time frame. So stay with us.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance, going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
And welcome back to the Instant Replay. We close out the show tonight talking about some spring sports. Again, we're about out of time, so we got to make this very quick, unfortunately. But it just goes to show you that this is the fastest and only online live hour of sports talk in North Georgia each and every week, and it's right here on the Instant Replay on FYNTV.com. As always, we're highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way. A couple of notes to share with you. Just a note to Gilmer Tennis today at Dawson County at 4 p.m. Again, if you're watching on Monday, of course, that is February the 18th today. So again, if you're watching on Monday, just a note that Gilmer Tennis is at Dawson on Monday at 4 p.m. Also, championship edition of the show continues today as we talk about the Pickens Dragons soccer team. They captured a championship this past weekend over at the Lakeshore Shootout in Birmingham, Alabama. The Dragon Boys sweeping through the field on their way to a Bronze Division championship. Juan Sanchez named as the tournament most valuable player. He had 6 goals and 8 assists. Congratulations to the Dragon Boys soccer team, which is off to a great start here in the spring of 2019. We'll talk a lot more about those guys coming up, as well as Gilmer baseball and GHSA baseball as a whole. It was the Fannin County Rebels who beat Gilmer on Wednesday 14-0 in a no-hit shutout victory for the Rebels against senior Hunter Gray getting the win there. The Bobcats will play a model at home on Tuesday the 19th. The Rebels will host Gilmer on Wednesday the 20th at 5 p.m. In Ellijay. Lumpkin also taking part in the Pickens Day of Baseball on Saturday. The Indians lost to Northgate 14-3 and beat McIntosh. Meanwhile, the Dragons on Saturday beat Northgate, a 6A school, 7-1 before losing to McIntosh, a 5A school, 13-2. So again, baseball is off and running. And with that, I want to end the show. Couple of quick notes. Luther, I want to toss it back to you. Our very own Josh Ross, not behind the glass today. And I want to give props where props are due, man. Lonnie of Fetch Your News. Pinch hit today. Lonnie's the guy behind the glass. We haven't brought him in yet because we haven't had time to really do so. So, Lonnie, you feel free to chime in if you want to and tell our viewers out there a good hello. You've done a great job today. But, Luther, talk a little bit about what Josh is doing and why he's not behind the glass this morning.
Yeah, Dave, before I get into that, I do want to bring Lonnie in, and I want to thank him for as you said, being our pinch hitter today. Lonnie, how are you doing on this beautiful Monday morning?
Staying busy.
Trying
to keep up with you guys.
Hey, well, as he said, this is the fastest hour. It's probably the fastest hour you'll ever experience, because we are all over it. I was talking about Josh, our very own Josh, who is normally our engineer. Josh Ross is in spring training down with the Atlanta Braves this week, and I want to thank him for sending some notes. He was going to try to call in and give us a live report, but somebody in the Braves media staff, I believe, if I understand it right, he was unable to get the full credentials in time to be able to actually interview some players and things like that and talk to us. So he sent us a few notes. Of course, we can look at Mike Soroka. Some of you may or may not know that name. But, of course, many see him as the Braves' promising young arm. I mean, just an amazing young man who can throw a pretty good pitch from the mound. 2018 season was cut short to an injury. He's back on the mound taking throws yesterday and progressing well. Ozzie Albies fielded 95 ground balls in 11 minutes yesterday and didn't miss a single one, so that's good. Hopefully we have an error-free season and a gold glove for him at the end. He takes pride in his defense, and his footwork was perfect. He was smoother than ever. Of course, pitchers and catchers are the only mandatory players there now, but all the team players except for Nick Markakis are there. They have received a report while I was on my way back from Gilmer High School that all the normal fielders are there. So pitchers and catchers, basically the whole team, Nick Markakis should arrive over the next couple days. Been working a lot of bunting, position players that show up early. He's been hitting in the cages, working on fielding. And newcomer, brand new to the Braves this year, Josh Donaldson, looks and feels really healthy, and he's primed for a comeback season. Of course, he struggled just a little bit last year. Numbers are down a little bit, but the Braves feel that he can really help them, bring another playoff run to it. So, Josh, I want to thank you for those notes. Hopefully we can get something set up where we can do that and be able to get you live maybe on next week's show. I believe you'll be back, but maybe we can put in some video and things like that of possibly some interviews. Appreciate you being down there. I know you go down there every year, but I appreciate your report and bringing this back to us. Dave, I'm going to bring it back to you and let you close it out and maybe any final thoughts you have, because you do the all over it a lot better than I do, sir.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Luther. You do a pretty good job of it yourself. I appreciate everyone being on board with us here today. And it's been an action-packed show. We've had a lot to talk about, and I think that's going to be the theme throughout the next couple of weeks as we officially kind of wrap up winter season, although we can't do that just yet because we do have some high school basketball teams still alive and well, but spring sports are taking off. We're going to talk a lot more about baseball, soccer, track, golf, tennis, you name it. All those seasons getting cranked up, and it's going to be a lot of fun to follow. I can't wait. As Luther said, we're all over it, and we appreciate you guys being with us. That's going to wrap things up for our program today, episode 39 of this show. It's hard to believe we've been at it basically 40 weeks, so we're moving in on a whole calendar year of the instant replay right here on FYNTV.com. We've enjoyed it. We hope you have as well. We'll see you same time, same place next week. For Lonnie and Luther, I'm Dave Garner saying so long, everyone, and remember, if it happens in North Georgia, we're all over it. We'll see you next time.